Coming up in this review, Bray Wyatt uses a UV light in Vince McMahon's office. Women's roster overjoyed famously safe worker Nia Jax makes WWE return. And Bloodline story makes grown men stoically approve. Sami! The road to WrestleMania goes Hollywood has begun. So subscribe and enable notifications to always on to stay up to date while I review WWE Royal Rumble 2023.
Support WrestleTalk!
The premium live event opened huge on a video package of the Hardy Boys return. Oh no, it's just a Hardy boy, not the A Hardy Boys. Neither Jeff or Matt Hardy WWE return confirmed. Instead, Pat McAfee made his surprise entrance to join commentary for the night. Perhaps he made his entrance about 3 minutes too early, as to open the show we had the men's Royal Rumble match. Typically, the men's Royal Rumble match, no offense womankind, is one of the most anticipated matches of the whole year. Yet here, it went on first. Is it even a Royal Rumble show if it doesn't end with someone pointing at the WrestleMania sign? Well, most years you aren't granted with one of the greatest pro wrestling stories of all time. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens went on last, but even that wasn't the real main event. So to start off the men's rumble, Gunther and Sheamus came out at numbers 1 and 2, a neat reference to their WWE match of the year back in September. Sheamus would last over 50 minutes, while Gunther stayed in right until the very end, creating a fun, strong style backbone to the whole match. Drew McIntyre later joined Sheamus for some Banger Bros action, giggity, but the ring was starting to fill up a bit, also giggity. Almost sensing there were undercard bodies to be thrown out of ring, Brock Lesnar entered at number 12 to eliminate Angelo Dawkins, Santos Escobar and Chad Gable. He stood up to Gunther for a tantalizing meat fight, also giggity, when Bobby Lashley entered and immediately eliminated Brock, presumably setting up their WrestleMania rubber match. Although now, I just want Lesnar versus Gunther. Kofi Kingston then attempted a Royal Rumble save spot so impossible, he didn't do it. He was meant to land with his feet on a chair, which Michael Cole kept claiming had happened. But everyone did decide that failed, moved on, and he was eliminated. Rey Mysterio never came out at 17, where it was implied he was beaten up backstage by his son Dominic. Finn Balor and Damian Priest then came out to join the best Mysterio Dom. Their Edge made his now compulsory Royal Rumble shock return and threw them both over the top rope. Balor and Priest then pulled Edge out, eliminating him, causing a brawl on the ramp that saw Beth Phoenix spear Rhea Ripley, potentially setting up a mixed gender tag in Edge's home country of Canada at Elimination Chamber. Booker T was a surprise entrant at number 21, whose Spinaroonie actually got more of a pop than his entrance did. Sadly, we didn't get this face when he was eliminated. Logan Paul entered at number 29, still so annoyingly good, he maybe had one of the best athletic spots of the entire night, an incredible dual springboard coast-to-coast clothesline with Ricochet where they collided mid-air. The pre-announced Cody Rhodes was of course out at number 30, but that didn't stop my dumb brain wondering beforehand. Oh, I wonder if The Rock is next. And then our final four were Cody, Gunther, Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. But also Logan Paul, because commentary literally forgot about him. After a very fun Seth versus Cody bit, where they both had a pedigree off on Gunther, Logan came out of nowhere to eliminate Rollins, strongly hinting that's your WrestleMania match. Which again will probably be annoyingly fantastic, but nothing makes me want to see it until it's actually happening. The final two came down to Cody versus Gunther. Usually that would be psychologically backwards booking. The heel has wrestled over an hour, entering at number 1, while Cody is fresh at number 30, only having wrestled 10 minutes. They made it work awesomely though by just having a 5-minute singles match at the end, with Gunther's unstoppable might almost overcoming Cody's ring rust returning from injury. Cody eventually got the predictable win, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with predictable, and putting this Rumble on first smartly avoids the whole crowd booing when they realise Sami wasn't in it, because he wanted to save those boos for the Mountain Dew pitch black match of LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt. Did I say boos? I meant bewildered indifference. I know this feud is decisive, but I've loved this story. I love Bray. I love his lore. And most of all, I freaking love LA Knight. He's played the US high school movie jock in a horror movie to perfection. This match, however, isn't divisive, because it was 100% naff. The pitch black gimmick turned out to be a neon rave, with UV lights picking out the wrestlers and the occasional burst of green paint, creating more liquid streaks than a Southampton Travelodge bed. Bray beat Knight pretty easily, then chased him to the production area, where Uncle Howdy dove off the top of a structure and exploded, I guess. Loads of pyro went off and the funhouse puppets appeared above them. The finish left me feeling surprisingly empty and let down. Also like an experience in a Southampton Travelodge bed. But they're not done there! Here's Bianca Belair pretty easily beating Alexa Bliss in about 7 minutes. A spooky vignette played afterwards of Alexa's old playground set with Uncle Howdy. The Women's Royal Rumble match was far better, almost entirely down to Rhea Ripley entering at number 1 and then winning the whole goddamn thing. A great story for the match itself, but an even smarter ploy when you consider the event as a whole. We'd just seen another monster Iron Person run with Gunther at number 1 in the men's match, but he just lost out to Cody. A perfect setup to Ripley actually accomplishing the win here. The middle third of the match was dominated by a full-strength Damage Control, who were responsible for 5 eliminations. Becky Lynch eventually got rid of Io Sky and Dakota Kai, but Bayley threw Lynch out. Natalya made her return because, of course she did. Doudrop got the much less stupid Piper Niven name back. Chelsea Green made her WWE return to get eliminated in 5 seconds. Selena Vega got a decent run thanks to actually being a personified piece of branded content, advertising Street Fighter. How are those unionization plans going, Zelina? Michelle McCool made a Legends spot cameo, entering from a ringside seat, and with 11 people still in the ring by the final entrant, you knew it was going to be someone not like most girls. Nia Jax made her WWE return, where everyone ganged up on her to throw her out. Most over person in all of this, though, was a slightly repackaged Asuka, who got a mega pop after not being seen since November's Survivor Series. She stayed in until the final 3 of her, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, with probably also Logan Paul in there somewhere too, for an epic final fight on the ring apron. Rhea did one of the best near elimination spots I've ever seen, properly stumbling but just catching herself to dangle from the top rope, where she then head scissored Morgan, the number 2 entrant, off to win. By this point, we were 3.5 hours into the event, way longer than recent Triple H shows, so we've definitely got time for a Hardy live performance in the ring. It's not even the Hardy Boys. But even with the show about to enter its 4th hour, the anticipation for the main event was so high, the crowd came alive. Which is super weird, because this is the Royal Rumble. It's very rare a straight singles match is more significant than the Rumble itself. Maybe Punk versus Rock before now, and, of course, Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly. But the anticipation wasn't even for Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. It's for the guy at ringside to see how he reacts. Sami Zayn provided an incredible heightening of the drama, not just experiencing the action in ring, but also the second layer of Sami's investment on the outside. We weren't just getting replays of moves, we were getting slow-mo replays of Sami reacting to them. The match itself was magnificent, as you'd expect. Ref bump, KO got the visible pin. Roman called for a chair, but Sami hesitated, leading to a crazy Owens near fall. But that was the moment Reigns entered Gododolph mode, brutally beating KO on the sharp side of the steel steps. It's the pointiest part of the ring, and then spearing him everywhere to win. And then S-word got actually real. Reigns commanded the Bloodline to continue the assault. From Roman's perspective, Owens keeps getting up, match after match, year after year, to be a threat to his supremacy. This was Reigns getting rid of him once and for all, Lannister style. They Pillmanized KO's neck, they hit him with the chair, they handcuffed him to the top rope to have the saddest superkick party ever. And the more they beat up Kev, the more conflicted Sami looked. Roman was about to use the chair on a defenseless Owens, the killer blow, when Sami stepped out in front of him. "This is beneath you," he told Roman. "You don't need to do this." "You're right," said Reigns. "You do it." There are still about 10 minutes left of the show by this point, by the way, and it's utterly engrossing. Sami thinks about it. He stalls, and then when Roman's back is turned, Zayn hits Reigns with the chair. Major triggers from the Shield breakup. It didn't even really hurt him that much. It was the significance of the action. And this story is so well constructed, its characters so fully realized. Suddenly, the most engaging thing wasn't Sami versus Roman. It was Jay's reaction, who started screaming at Sami, "Why? You meant to be my brother, not his!" The decision had been made, the course set. Jimmy superkicked Sami. Solo spiked him, but Jay wouldn't take part because maybe, water can be thicker than blood. He stormed out, leaving the Bloodline to their spoils. The Sami storytelling has been incredible in its long-termism, definitely a word. But Jay just reminded you he was the OG Roman dissenter. He's been telling this story since 2020. Roman got genuine heel heat as he ripped apart Sami's lei and scattered the petals over his body. After all these years, Reigns is no longer a cool heel. He's not a heel the company is pushing incorrectly as a face. He's an actual heel we want to see beaten. And the Canadian lovers, Owens and Sami, are the ones we're rooting for to do it as they were left beaten in the ring. I want the vengeance. And at Elimination Chamber, which is in their Canada home, a whole country will be cheering them on too. A 15-minute wrestling angle just main evented the Royal Rumble. That was special. That That was sports entertainment. What did you think of the Rumble? Let me know in the comments down below. A weak mid-card, but 2 fun Rumble matches with great winners and a fantastic main event and angle. Royal Rumble 2023 is 98%. But how did Adam Blompier do with his Royal Rumble predictions? Watch on to see if he got all 30 entrants correct.
The Rumble is nearly upon us, and with its hopeful plethora of surprises come some of the biggest fantasy bookings of the season. So make sure you're subbed to Parts of Unknown so you're notified when my official Royal Rumble 2023 fantasy booking video goes live this week. Until then, let's try to actually predict who might be in the thing.